Tell us a little bit about your role at the Value Reporting Foundation, how it intersects with climate change, and what brought you to COP26.
The Value Reporting Foundation, which was founded only 6 months ago as a combination of something called SASB, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, and the International Integrated Reporting Council, recognizing that we need a different reporting system fit for the 21st century. The focus on financial reporting in isolation was not serving the capital markets well. And as we become part of the new ISSB, the International Financial Reporting Foundation organization, will be to continue that work.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the intellectual property that the Value Reporting Foundation kind of presides over and how that's going to be integrated into the work of the ISSB?
There are 3 principal pieces of intellectual property that are hard and exist, as well as, of course, the continuing know-how of the people. The integrated thinking principles, the integrated reporting framework, and thirdly, but by no means least, the sustainability accounting standards, of which there are 77 industry-specific standards. But they're used on a voluntary basis, and they have been developed, driven by the market to meet a market need. The big change that was announced is to bring them more mainstream, to bring them into the IFRS Foundation construct, to give them more public interest legitimacy as people begin to talk about more disclosure used more widely and potentially to mandatory disclosure. That will of course be dependent on individual territories and their regulation.
We've seen many notable developments over the past few days already, from the high-level segment, the World Leaders Summit, and of course Finance Day. What are some of the key developments that you see as really notable, and what are the issues that you're looking out for as we go forward?
There are some very welcoming feel around the place. One is collaboration, recognizing that we all need to be involved in these solutions. It can't be your problem or my problem. This is our problem, particularly climate, but more broadly as well. That creates a very, very powerful model. Alongside that collaboration is almost alignment amongst policymakers, the politicians, the regulators, business recognized as very, very important as part of the solution, and society as a whole. Some may say, well, it's taken climate and a long time to get that alignment, but thank goodness it has, because speaking to organisations representing wider society, they are very keen to make sure that the business and corporates are bought in to the solutions because they can make a real difference. Clearly the same is true of the policymakers, and whichever one of those triumvirate you talk to, they recognise the importance of the others, and they're speaking the same kinds of language. That strikes me as being quite different.
What are some of the key trends that you're seeing in the sustainable finance landscape, and how do you expect them to evolve?
I think there's a huge trend of accountability behind the projects. There will be much more capital made available. Nevertheless, capital is being directed towards the very best projects. Again, plays back into, if you like, why we've got this marriage of reporting and the announcements around reporting alongside the GFAN announcements of freeing up more supply, more ability to make things happen differently. The second piece I would say is normalisation. That comes with challenges because there's a risk of complacency, it's just what we do, and we need to keep the urgency behind it.
What do we need to be seeing from both governments but also the private sector to make sure that the announcements made here really drive change?
In 2022, we need to see the new International Sustainability Standards Board deliver from the prototypes, take them through due process and deliver some standards. We need to see the organisation constructed and the forward agenda being considered so that there is real substance and development. I think people are going to look for a level of accountability and granularity, that there are things going on. We're probably not as good at communicating the progress, measuring the progress, and accepting that they're not finished as we need to be. But 2022 could be a milestone if we are willing to approach it in that way. Not look for perfection, but look for progress.